was a horrifying sight 1 year ago tomorrow. A Navy jet turned much of a Virginia Beach apartment complex into an inferno. It destroyed two buildings in a crash known as the Good Friday Miracle. No one was killed or seriously injured. Then in your side's Art Kohn looks back on that day that many insist was divine intervention. Art, people still feel very strongly about this.
No question about it, Tom. In fact, no matter who I interviewed for this special report, at some point the word miracle became part of the conversation. Miracles, however, can affect different people in different ways.
Every once in a while, God introduces himself in great ways.
2 days after the jet crash at Mayfair Mews, the faithful turned out in force to give thanks for an event that by any standard was nothing short of a miracle.
That every person involved in that incident, the pilots, the residents, the first responders, can wake up to this glorious day that God has made and hug their loved ones, that is truly miraculous.
It's an unbelievable story.
I mean, you know, how there were 64 units here, so how do you explain that out of 64 units, nobody even got hurt?
Being a person of faith, I truly believe there was some divine intervention. We witnessed a miracle, but we also witnessed a team forming around a need, and I'm very proud of that as well.
Battalion Chief Tim Riley isn't just referring to the way local, state, and federal authorities worked together that day. Neighbors worked side by side with first responders to help with rescue efforts.
And I was watching citizens of Virginia Beach help firefighters lift fire hoses to get to the scene.
Well, that first night, obviously, it was very stressful.
Earl Moyer was the manager at Mayfair Mews at the time.
He was much more than that. He was our security guard, our landscaper. He was a lot more than just the complex manager.
Moyer was the only one who could account for the tenants at Mayfair Mews. He knew them all by name, and they knew him.
If their car was home, usually meant they were home. And the cars that were there, I was like, oh, Lord, I just knew that they were perished in the jet crash.
Eventually, Moyer found them all, and they were all alive. There were no fatalities, but there was one casualty, ironically, Moyer himself. Several months after the crash, and just 2 weeks before Christmas, he was let go from his job as manager.
I just did what I thought was right to do, as far as, trying to let the media know and try to let, my tenants know, if they, okay, yes, I did find your mother, or yes, I did find your dad's okay, and, I was just a go-to man to get those things out, and regardless of the repercussions of what I did, it was something that I had to do.
As the jets from Oceana continue to fly over Mayfair Mews and the other homes and businesses near the base, one can't help but wonder when or if something like this will ever happen again. That's the focus of my story tomorrow night. Art Kohn, 10 on your side.
Strong resource. We have continuing coverage of that Navy jet crash. Just click on the link on the home page. We have photo galleries showing the day's events and the recovery, and a look at the people most affected by this and much more on wavy.com.